Hello and welcome to Swing Essentials. Thank you for choosing us in your pursuit of a better golf game. We've got you here next to Adam Scott, and what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at your golf swing from a downline view and from a face-on view, and at the end of this, we'll give you a couple lessons to take to the driving range and give you something to practice to help on the things that we touch upon. So, let's go ahead and get started. We've got you here next to Adam Scott. A lot of great things that we're doing. Really good athletic setup. Really like the bend in the knees, really like where the hands fall. What I would recommend is getting just a little bit taller, a little bit of less knee bend there. That'll get you taller, that'll get your swing a little bigger. And the second thing is I'd like to see a little bit more of your left shoulder. If you look here, your feet are going this way, your knees are going that way. Shoulder's just a little off. And what that's going to do is that's going to have you finish a little bit to the left of target. It usually produces a little bit of a smother hook or a push to the right. So if we can go ahead and make sure that our shoulders, and you can see here on the right, are going where our knees are going, where our feet are going, we get a lot better consistency from that. So let's go ahead and take the club back. Okay. As you can see, when that club comes back, that toe is pretty much right in the air. We want to make sure that that toe is in line with our spine. And you can see it there. The spine angle and the club face are exactly the same angle. Here is our spine angle. Unfortunately, that is the toe of the club. So once that toe gets pointed straight up in the air, we get a little bit open with the club face at the top. And you can see again that club face at the top here going that way. We'd like to see that club face going that way. So again, you can see the difference in the club head at the top. And if we're missing that ball a little bit to the right when we hit it in the middle of the face, that's likely why, is that club face angle. So I'll take these lines off so you can really see the difference at the top of the swing. And we want to make sure that we got that flat left wrist, because that's going to allow us to get that club face in a really, really good position. So that club is just a little bit out of position at the top of the swing. This is one of the most beautiful moves I've seen down to a golf ball. Man, that is tough to teach. That is really tough to teach. Again, you get it into a really good position here, and you absolutely just turn on it. But what you're going to see is when we follow through, we've got that left elbow out there instead of that left elbow pointing down. And what that is that's the setup that we talked about earlier. Want to make sure that those shoulders get set up to the target, because if you set up to the target and that right shoulder drops back a little bit, you're going to feel closed, but you're going to finish a little higher with that club rather than over to the left. So again, really athletic golf swing, really well done in a lot of aspects here. Just a couple things to recap. One, let's get a little bit taller with the knees, a little less knee bend there. When we take that club back, let's make sure that it feels a little closed. We don't want to whip that guy right open, because you can see where it gets at the top. Again, really wide open. And then really good move in. And if we start with the shoulders a little bit more closed, we're going to finish a little higher. So again, 3 quick things that we can do right off the bat to get a lot more consistent. So extremely well done. Let's take a look from a face-on view and then get you a couple drills to take the driving range. Well done. Okay, we've got you here next to Rory McIlroy. A couple things that we can learn from the setup here. Again, I really like your setup to the golf ball, because again, you've kind of got the buttons of your shirt really kind of pointed towards that front knee. Really good stuff. Now, what I want you to notice is I want you to notice where your torso goes as the club comes back. So as the club comes back, you can see everything moving towards that right toe. Now, as Rory takes his club back, you can see that he really never crosses that line. And because he never crosses that line, he doesn't have to shift back to hit the golf ball. So as he comes back into this, he stays in front of that line. Again, drops it in just like we do. And and at impact is able to hit it a long way. But look at that right foot. Okay. Rory is pushing off of his right toe, the inside of his foot, to make sure that we get there. We are twisting, and because when we're done, we are still on our back foot. And that right foot, you can see you're not up on the toe, you're bracing yourself on that back foot. And we've got to make sure that we get forward. At the finish of our golf swing, we want to make sure that we are nice and straight from the bottom of our foot all the way up to our right shoulder. Again, we've got a little bit of room here because we're hanging back just a shade. So how do we fix this issue? Because everything else looks great from a good setup position all the way there. The trick is the right hip. So if we look at that right hip, we want to make sure that if that right hip goes anywhere, it needs to go to the target. So look at Rory's right hip here. That right hip actually goes towards the target. So at the top of his swing, he's actually made room between that line and his hip. Okay? Our hip goes to the right. And that's not what we want to see. We want to make sure that we get some room. It's called gapping, right? So if you were to take a rod or something in the ground or a chair and put it right there, we want to make sure that we actually make space. We don't want to run into it. We want to come off it, right? We want to make space between that line and our right hip. So we're going to give you a drill to help you stay a little bit more centered over the ball. And again, if you can stay more centered over the ball, much like this, again, it's going to help immensely with your contact, your position, and more importantly, your finish. And that's really what we're looking at, is we're trying to get that finish right there. So let's go ahead and give you a couple drills to work on the driving range with, and you should be good to go. Thank you again for choosing Swing Essentials and supporting small business. And we look to see to get a couple more swing videos from you soon. Thank you very much. Have a great day.
Hi, my name is AJ Nelson, PGA member at Swing Essentials, and this is your golf tip. If you bring the club a little too far inside when you start, this is a drill that can help you. We want to get that club on plane, not too far inside or not too steep. So take your left hand, put it behind your elbow, and as you turn, that club will stay on plane. It also helps as you come through to keep connected. That's your golf tip. Have fun out there.
Hi, my name is AJ Nelson, PGA Golf Professional Swing Essentials, and this is your tip of the month. A lot of people, when they go back in their backswing, the hip goes with them and they slide. We call them travelers. So we're going to stop you from traveling today. As you take the club back, make sure that hip goes backwards as you turn your shoulders. One, you get a better shoulder turn out of it. Two, you can push your weight forward, and that'll straighten out your shots. Thanks again. Have a good one on the golf course.